Welcome to Practive. I'm presenting full demo video and operational process of this software. So start with the login. Enter your login credentials such as username and password to log in into your account. So after login, you can reach on this portal. So basically it's an admin portal. So you can find out the generated task summary of your client by the status and summary for pending, hold, in progress and completed for current task status. And for the same, configure due date will be remind you for today, tomorrow, within 7 days and overdue for the task. Also there is an option to create to-dos. You can create to-dos for yourself. Also you can assign to other user. And other information are available on the dashboard screen. For need to make invoice, employees best performer, attendance and other useful tools such as total working hours, useful link for website setting, WhatsApp API and others. A compliance calendar is available. So this compliance calendar you can filter with your monthly period, download and share with your client. And other upcoming holidays are there, so you can add into your settings. So first of all you need to create users, and in the user master you can create your employees with their login credentials. And for creating a user you can go to the new button, enter your user like employees detail and assign them a user role. So user role you can define into your settings. There is an option for user role, you can create accordingly. And under the user role settings you can provide them access and permission to their dashboard. Search for the client, task, invoice receipt, quotation, expenses, uh, document in out register, DSC, attendance, setting, to-dos, report and others. So all the permission you can accordingly provide to your user. And back to the users, after creating a user, login credential will auto send to them on their registered mail ID. And after that you have to create the service master, and service is a master for task creation, and accordingly you can create with the new button. Also you can import through an Excel file, so you need to download the template, and accordingly you can enter the service detail to your template file and import to the dashboard. And like you have to create a service manually, so like by the service you have to configure it for the recurrence if available, and set your auto task creation frequency. In monthly, quarterly, half yearly and yearly options are there. And need to configure creation date, due date, task creation period for a recently completed period and a currently running period. And the example are here, so you can accordingly check. And there is an option to assign auto task to the user, so a default user will auto assign for the recurrence task for applicable client. In the billing setting you can enter the default billing amount for the service. And for the GST services you can configure GST API. So need to select the GST return type accordingly. And for your client you can create a document collection request, so a request will auto create while recurrence, and client will be notified so they can upload their document to your website portal. And next option is checklist, where you can define your workflow for task completion steps, and accordingly you can create step by step and save the checklist. And subtask you can create if required for the service. And also there is an option to enable workflow. So for the workflow you can see whenever the first subtask will be completed, the second one will auto create. And custom fields for your service, to add more detail you can create. And into the client tab you have to assign applicable client for the recurrence period of the service. And a task will auto generate on your creation date for applicable clients. And there is an option to set custom price and custom user for the same with their task. And there is an option for supporting file, so you can add a supporting file format and document for your user. The document will reflect to them into their task, and accordingly they can proceed. And apart from services, there are in package option. So package you can create on yearly basis. So you need to select the services for the package, and select the frequency, package name, and default billing amount, and save it. So the applicable service with this package you can directly provide to your client in a package, and clients you can assign with the package with their auto billing option and default billing price. So next is clients, and here you can create your client one by one. Also you can import in bulk through an Excel file. So download the template file, and according to guideline you can enter your client details and import that file into your dashboard. So all client will be added to your dashboard. And like if you have to create a one by one, so select the new option, and there is an option to autofill using GST number. So enter the client GST number, and client detail will autofill to the basics and contact details. There is an option to set a opening balance for the client, and recurring services you can enable, which are you have created in the service master, and if applicable for the client, while creation of the client you can enable the same and save it. And custom fields are there for adding clients more detail. So in the setting there is an option client setting, and in the custom field you can create your custom field to add a different kind of detail of client. Okay, so after adding client to the dashboard, you can visit the client profile, where you can find all the related information for the client with their contact details, their generated task summaries, unbilled task, and ledger balance. Also there is an option to create automatic invoice on monthly basis. So you have to enable it, select a particular date of month, and save it. So uh, all the completed tasks which are recurrence for the client will auto bill to the client on particular day. And there is an option to allow them notifications and the login access. In the service master you can see availed services for the client, and recurring services you can manually assign with them. So you have to enable the service. Also if you want to add a custom user you can configure and set a default price for the client. And same for the client packages, you can create a yearly package with your frequency, and under this package you can find out and track all the generated tasks with their summaries. And there is an option to create invoice. So invoice will be generated for the client for whole packages. The next one is task, where you can find the generated task summary for the client, and there is an option to filter out with your criteria. In the document tab, there is an option for task document directory and client documents. So you need to upload a task wise document to the client task, and the document will reflect here in a directory format for the service and generated period. So period wise document you have uploaded, you can easily find out. And also client can access all those documents on your website portal by their login. And permanent documents you need to upload into the client documents. Next, ledger, where you can find the generated invoice and receipts for the client, and there is an option to show invoice items. So if you enable this, the invoice item will be reflected. In document in out register you can enter physical document received and given to the client, and there is an option to create new, where you can select categories received or given, and document types you can create accordingly. Also you can enter document location, and if returnable you can enable it with your note and save it. So whenever you add a entry for the clients and the document will be returned, you can mark return with your selected date. Next one is password, where you can save client portal password for GST, ITR and other portals. And for creating password, you have to create a new portals. You can create into the setting, and there is an option to add new, and enter the username and password of the portal and save it. Into the expense tab, you can add out of pocket expenses for the client that you can bill to their invoice as a reimbursement. And for adding an invoice, you have to create new, where you have to configure the category. Client is selected, enter the amount. Payment mode you can create and select. Related notes, also you can upload a voucher and challan of the expense, so you can save the expense for the client. And next one is DSC and quotation tab, so accordingly you can create and save for the client. And now move to the task master. So here you can see all of your generated tasks. The recurrence task will auto generate and reflect into the task list, and there is an option to create manual, where you need to select the client. You can select here multiple client for bulk task creation, and select the service. If service is recurring, you can select the period. You can configure due date, target date, and assigning user for the task. Also related tag for filtration option, document collection request for your client, and description you can add and save the task. So task will be created like this, and the particular task on the dashboard you can filter out with multiple criteria with users, client, service, status, date, and many more. So accordingly you can filter out the task on your dashboard. So the particular user assigned with the task will be notified to their dashboard in this bell icon. They can find out and access the task from their dashboard. So task overview will be the same. And here is an option to change the status according to their current status, and user can update it in pending, hold, in progress and completed status. If there are default checklist in the service master, that will be reflected, and there is an option to create checklist manually step by step. And like configured due subtask will auto create for the parent task. And if you have enabled the workflow, as you can see the sales subtask has been created, and current status is pending. So whenever the user Janvi completed the subtask sales, the next one purchase will auto create for the Vikas. You can see here there is an option to be created according to your workflow. And related notes you can type it here and post. Also there is an option to tag user, so you can mention the user and type notes for them and post, so related user will be notified for the note. Custom field area, they can add detail accordingly. Tags you can manually add, and users you need to assign with another users. You can select, remove, and reassign with other user. And if the task is billable you can enable it, and if non-billable you can disable it. So next one is time log, where user need to add their working detail with spending time. Also start and end time you can manually select, and there is an option to use timer option. And user need to start the time when the task is in progress, and after completion they can stop the timer and save with their detail. And there is an option to add to-dos for the task. So to-dos you can create and also assign with the other user as well. And in the document tab need to upload final document for the task like filing copy, acknowledgement, and the final documents you can upload to the upload section, and that document will reflected to client documents task document directory. And if you require to collect a document from client, you can create a request manually with your message, and client will be notified. They can go to your website, log in with their mobile number, and after login they can find out your request, and against the request they can upload their documents. So the uploaded document will receive directly to the task. And you have uploaded a supporting file for your user in the service master, and user can find out in the supporting file, and accordingly they can proceed their work. And in the task history, the related change will auto noted into this tab. And after completion user need to mark it completed, so the admin and authorized person can verify the task. And if you have enabled GST API with your GST services, so while completing the task like this task has been enabled for GST API. So while completion, like user need to mark it completed, and the GST filing status for the particular period will be verified from GST portal with a filing date. And if filing is not done yet, task can't be completed by user. And if filed, so the task will verified from GST portal. Reviewer can manually verify the task. And all of these tasks are interlinked with client for billing. So you need to create invoice for the client. Go to new tab, select your entity. If you have multiple entities, you can create and select the particular client. So all the unbilled tasks which are not billed yet for the client with the packages will be reflected, and accordingly you can select. If you have manual item to add into the invoice, you have an option to add. And the unbilled expenses for the client you can add to the invoice as a reimbursement, and save it. So invoice will be generated into this format. Here is your company details. Invoice heading you can change into the settings, and the footer items you can also change into your settings. And like if you have configured auto email and WhatsApp for the invoice creation, and email and WhatsApp will auto send to the client with a soft copy of invoice, and there is an option to send them manually via email, WhatsApp, and download the file. If required to cancel the invoice, there is an option. You can edit, delete, and print the invoice. And after receiving payment, you can create your receipt entry. So for creating a receipt, you have to go to the receipt master, create new, select your entity, date, receipt number, and payment mode. Payment mode you can create as per your preferences, and select the client. Okay, so here you can see all the created invoice for the client which are not paid yet will be reflected, and you can settle the received amount against client particular invoice. Also you can add your TDS amount, discount, and remark. So the received amount you can settle against a particular invoice and save the receipts. So receipt will be generated, and the same you can share with your client manually. And same as invoice, there is an option to create quotation or estimate. And for creating the quotations, you need to select entity and client. So for a particular client, you can add items with your services, and accordingly you can add description and amount for them. And here is an you can add the term and condition for the quotation. The next, expenses, where you can add office and client expenses. So for particular client expense you have added, which you can bill to their invoice as a reimbursement. And in the attendance master, you can manually manage your attendance for employees with their check-in and check-out timing. So admin or authorized person can mark attendance with their attendance, check-in and check-out timing. And if you have provided self-only right for attendance to user, they can check in and check out with the live timing. Also there are bulk attendance option, and in the monthly you can find out a user wise month report. The next one is document and DSC menu, where you can find total document in out register for client, DSC management for their renewal task. So you need to add client DSC with the class, password, issue and expiry date. Also you can add related notes and save it. So before expiry date, the renewal task will be auto create according to your settings. And in the document collections, you can find out the generated request for your client to upload their documents. And if client have uploaded the document, you can directly find out with client name with their task and download their documents. And also the assigned person with the task will receive a notification whenever a client uploaded their documents. And regarding all of this, you can find out the report section, where reports are available for the task, service, client, passport, password report, DSC report, invoice report, receipts, expenses, unbilled task report, client outstanding report, and a time log report for the employees, and client wise time log report, and a time log report for all of the tasks. So accordingly you can filter out with your criteria and export into an Excel file. And next one is send notifications. So if you require to send bulk notifications to your client, so there is an option in manual. You can send for task, payment reminder and custom notifications. So here you need to filter out your client criteria wise, like in that custom notification you can filter with the type of client, payment reminder with outstanding balance, and for task you need to filter out the service for applicable client. And if a service task is already created, so you can enable this option, select the period and the status. So accordingly client will be filtered out. You can select them all, or select multiple in manual, and send via SMS, WhatsApp and email. So email will auto configured with a template. You can edit with your preferences. And for WhatsApp and SMS, you need to select the template. For SMS there are predefined template which are approved by Try, and WhatsApp template you can create on your Meta account. Select template and send in bulk to your client. And into the settings you can find all of your master option. So there is an option to create tag for filtration. Client, in the client setting you can allow duplicate name. Also in the client custom field you can create a custom field for your client to add more detail. Portal list for saving username and password of the portal. Services, package and users. And for the particular users, there are a user role setting, and a label wise user role you can create and save with the approved access and permission to their dashboard. In the billing setting, you can add multiple entities for your billing purpose, and in entity settings, you can configure your business detail. For the company detail, if GST is chargeable, you can enable it, otherwise not. You can also upload your signature file. And for the invoice, you can add invoice heading. If required, you can enable auto generate invoice number with a prefix and a series start from. You can add UPI ID to create a QR code on your invoice, and invoice footer, you can add your bank detail and other details for your invoice. And there are other options as well. Same for the receipts and quotations. And then you can find general notifications. And here you can configure automated notifications for your client by SMS, WhatsApp, and email for all of these activities. For the task created, task completed, payment reminder, receipt created, invoice created, DSC reminder, document collection request, client created, and client birthday greetings. So for a particular activity, you need to select and enable the service, select your template. And for the WhatsApp and email, you have to configure a variables, and accordingly you can add variables to your template and save the settings. So the reminder or notifications will auto send to the client over your activity. In the task notifications, you can create the automated notifications before due date to remind your client for task completion and their documents. And for creating task notification in automation, you need to create a new one by selecting a service and a service status. So you can configure before due days, like you have entered the 7 days before due date. So the applicable client which with the status of pending for particular task will auto remind with your selected services with SMS, WhatsApp, and email by configured your template. Into DSC settings, you can enable the DSC task creation automatically before how many days you want. So you have to configure the days. Holiday list you can create manually. Document types uh, which are using to add a physical document in out register. Payment modes you can create for invoice, receipts, and quotations. And in the website setting, like here we have provided a standard website with your dashboard for your client login, and your website you can access from menu. In the last option, your website. And how does it look like? You can see it's in a standard format. And regarding this website, you can add detail to your website setting with your business logo, company name, theme color you can choose. And in the domain setting, there are a Practive subdomain by default with your business name. And if you have your own domain or subdomain, you can configure with DNS setting to your domain provider. And the payment gateway you can integrate with Razorpay and PhonePe for receiving online payment from client. Client login area restrictions for their document list, uh, task list, laser, and online payment option. And for the other setting of your website, you can add a home banner, heading, contact details, about us, and services. Also, you can configure the policies of your website and save it. So according to all of these details, your website will be reflected with all of this detail. Okay, and your client can visit this website, and they can log in with the client login options. Also they can install an application of your website. So there is an option to install application. It's a web based applications for your client, and client can log in here with their mobile number and OTP verifications. So client need to add their mobile number. After adding mobile number, click on get OTP button, and a OTP will receive to your mobile number, and verify if the number is configured with multiple client. So there is an option to select the account for particular client. For example, I have selected Anil Sharma's account. So select, and the client login will be there. So after login, client can reach on this portal where they can find and download their quick documents which are provided by your side for the task and client directory into the client master. So like same client, Anil Sharma has a dashboard, client task document directory, and client documents. Both are available for the client into the quick document section. So they can explore and download the required document. Also they can track their assignment status. In the ledger they can find out their invoice and receipts. Also they can open and download the invoice. And if you have configured your payment gateway, so client can pay you online, and a receipt will auto generate to your dashboard with selected payment mode of payment gateway. And in the last upload document, so you need to create a request for the client into the task. So for particular task, like if you have enabled for auto document collection request, which auto created while recurrence, and if you have created manually, so client can find out the same into their upload document section, and accordingly they can upload their files. So that file will be received to your task. And in the settings, the next one is website flyer. So you can print and share with your client, so they can visit or access your website for their login. In communication settings, you can configure your email server. For sending email with your mail ID, you can use custom SMTP. You have to configure your mail server SMTP to the dashboard. And for the SMS, you need to buy SMS credit. 1000 SMS credit will be provided with the dashboard, and for further you can buy according to the package. And WhatsApp Business API, you need to integrate it for automated WhatsApp notifications. And here we have added the tutorial for completing whole setup. Also there is an option to enable WhatsApp AI assistant. This is a chatbot option on your API number. So with the help of this AI assistant, client can get their document, task information, and invoicing. In the compliance calendar settings, like you can enable and disable. So compliance is provided by Practive automation. And in the custom event, you can create for the due date, act, from event, period, description, and save. So your custom event will be reflected to the compliance calendar, and you can share with your client. In the user notifications, you can enable notifications for your employees or user for the assignment by push notifications over their dashboard. And you can also enable email. And the next one is export data to Tally. So generated invoice and receipts for your client on the dashboard, you can download by selecting your entity, like all entities or entity wise, with the selecting date range. You can download the data of receipt, invoice, client, and service. So a zip file will be downloaded with the master files, and that file you can directly import into your Tally. And in the last, my account section, where you can find your subscription detail and billing history. like all of the payment you have made for the dashboard, you can find the invoice from here. And also there is an option to renew and upgrade your plan. Hopefully you have understood whole operating process of Practive software. Thank you.